This is the Fifth Estate Winning Headlines, your media police post. In this segment, we summarize some of the headlines that you may have missed this morning, but we also take a look at the political pieces that we call cartoons in this country. Today is the 29th of July 2021, and I am 2J.
I'm 2.
And I am GK. In case you missed the headlines, here they are. In the Daily Nation, Uhuru Raila plan handshake tours. In the Standard, RUTO triggers a storm with bottom-up plan. And in the Star, Central at crossroads as divisions widen. What are we discussing today?
Today, we will plead temporary insanity and take you to a dark place. In fact, we want to hypothesize two worst-case scenarios. One is an assassination, and two is a coup. The scenarios are premised on the choices a cornered William Ruto has if he is to assume the presidency before 2022. Consider our thoughts. We want to hypothesize that William Ruto has gone into panic mode because he knows the ICC will kill 2022 for him. He knows this time round there's no Ocampo 6. He is the only target. In fact, he doesn't even know who the prosecutor is this time round. It's not Ocampo, it is not Bensouda, and neither is it Khan. His prosecutor has a head of a coconut. And it is for these reasons that Ruto is likely to do something mad. We will begin with scenario 1, assassination. Last year in May, Ruto bottoms-up advisor David Day was asked what was Ruto's best way to clinch the presidency. Day advised Ruto to assassinate his boss. Now, if Ruto were to heed Day's advice and succeed, William Ruto would ascend to the presidency immediately. The reason he would do this is simple. Ruto knows he can only kill the ICC case if he is president. The only way to scare Paul Gisheru is if he is president. Do you think Ruto has not thought of heeding Day's advice? Scenario 2, we are 2 days away from the 39th anniversary of the August coup of 1982. Nobody knows where Ruto is. Rumor has it, man is in Zanzibar eating prawns and sausages and doing bottom-ups with Madafu. Now, there is a flight manifest indicating who is with him. Take note, there are no Kikuyus with him.
Indeed.
Not a single one. When Ruto went to greet our friend Museveni, again, there were no Kikuyus. Just him and his Sugoi crew. Question is, why would he travel without his new Kikuyu besties? What would be so secretive that Ruto would want to speak only in Kalenjin while in Uganda and Zanzibar? And herein, I want to hypothesize, if you're a Kikuyu ally of Ruto, be aware of sacrifice. You mean nothing to Uhuru, he's going home, but you mean everything to Ruto.
Well, it's quite chilling, but you do make some sense there.
But I want to point out that you pleaded temporary insanity.
Yes.
Don't speak for us.
Yeah.
So I think I just want to quickly address the mess of Alice Wahome this week, because it confirmed several things. One, it confirmed what we already knew, that the bottom-up economic lacks any substance. And two, that UDA, the Hustler Nation, Tangataka, whatever they call themselves, are operating on borrowed time. Yesterday was just the beginning, and better yet, they did it all to themselves. What's even worse, in my opinion, is that the DP and his team have managed to convince large parts of the country into believing this half-baked economic theory, that it will provide miracles like never before. How? What does bottom-up economics stand for? If the likes of Kimani Ichung'wah and Alice Wahome can't explain it, it's because it's a lie. And GK hit the nail on the head on Monday when she said that Ruto throws these vague terms into the public domain and he leaves us to figure out what he means.
Yes.
The other day, the DP was boasting that he gave 1.5 million shillings to 300 traders in central Kenya, and this was to boost their businesses. That is 5,000 shillings per business owner. Barely enough to cover 1 month's rent, buy supplies, or even actually boost their business. Is this bottom-up economics? Because God forbid, 5,000 shillings is just a handout. And it's becoming clear that William Ruto is a person with no policies to offer Kenyans. He only believes in dishing out money to entice people. But with this, we're going to create a nation of dependency. What incentive will the youth have to go to school, hunt for a job, or start a business if William Ruto, the new Lord of Poverty, will come and save them with 5,000 shillings and a wheelbarrow? But in order to ground my point, we only have to look at the investments, the opportunities, and the access that President Uhuru Kenyatta secured only this week in the UK.
Yes.
20 billion shillings into the Big Four projects. He guaranteed 10,000 affordable houses in Kenya. 132 million pounds sterling of British investment and favorable trade agreements. And this is only the beginning. So in my view, the country is at a crossroad. One path will take us forward and the other will take us backwards. Which path are we going to take?
I can tell you, we are not going to do economics.
However, I must commend the GP for getting Kenyans to open up their brains with this new mataconomics. With just a year to the election, Mr. Ruto, it seems, will not just be able to throw out these ambiguous terms into public discourse and hope for the best. The more we have investigated the gospel, according to Mr. Ruto, on Bottom Up, the more confused we have become. In his divine mission to tap into the people's anger and resentment about the state of their pocket, he has left out crucial details. Mr. Ruto has conveniently left out that his bottom-up approach has very little to do with government or politicians providing goodies to the public. Mr. Ruto won't tell Kenyans that it is proven the world over that if you grow the economy, even if it favors the top big companies, the expectation is that the benefits will ultimately flow to the lowest part, leading to economic growth and employment in general in the economy.
Absolutely.
Mr. Ruto will not truly consider whether the bottom-up approach will work in a country with high inequality, or the reality of what the largely informal sector can actually do with the skills that they have. So in the 1970s, many countries adopted this bottom-up model approach, and it failed. Small businesses had too many barriers to success, and they were unable to generate jobs on the scale that they were intended to. There was a lack of demand for both their goods and services. Now, logical economists, except one, name withheld, are asking whether the model liberates the common mwananchi, or is Mr. Ruto simply hoodwinking us for votes? As a skeptic of the bottom-up approach, let's look at the government's track record when it comes to allocating resources. I do not trust a government that chooses to confer goodies directly to the bottom. In my quest for clarity, I did come across a concept, and it's called the middle out economics. And this is by Nick Hanauer. And the big idea is that policies to bolster the middle class will benefit everybody. Middle out means prosperity that begins with the middle class.
Yes.
Yeah.
It is the demand side concept of economic growth.
Yeah.
A middle class that is prosperous
Yes.
and demands more goods and services will create economic growth, generating more jobs in a virtuous circle.
Yes.
So the real problem is where the capital actually goes.
Yeah.
Capital given to entrepreneurs creates jobs and economic growth. So what Kenya needs is a stable securing of private property rights and a class of people willing to save and invest. Without this, there can be no great progress in the standard of living. Therefore, the fifth president should have an economic philosophy that continues to build out the middle, so that Kenya can have this broad-based prosperity.
That's right.
So we have a three-part criteria that we will use to break down or judge those headlines. We ask ourselves if it's topical or speculative, repetitive or groundbreaking, thoughtful or just plain lazy. We're throwing out handshake tours immediately of the Daily Nation.
Yes.
But I do like the standard because for once it's telling us that we're not just accepting this bottom-up philosophy.
Wholesale,
that people
indeed.
are looking at it.
And we should question it,
Absolutely.
Right? Can we give it to the standard?
Definitely, I agree.
There you have it. Moving on to our cartoons, where we have a three-part criteria to break them down. We ask ourselves, is it humorous or dry? Is it satirical or pessimistic? And is it effective or just plain lazy? Can we begin with the standard?
And in the standard, we have a proposal of sorts going on. We have a caricature of Raila, and he's at the One Kenya Alliance House, the Foka house. And he's begging Kalonzo, and who appears to be Mudavadi, and they're both dressed in beautiful gowns. I think these are the bearded sisters, right?
Yeah.
And he's kneeling on one knee with candles surrounding him and a gift basket, and he has a suitcase open that is labeled funds. And the caption there is, Jaber, I will change, I promise. Please come back home. And then this Kaso, in the little corner, we have a little guy who's saying, too little, too late.
Oh, man.
So the funds, I guess, is relating to NASA breaking up the billions that they've amassed to the different political parties.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And the proposal, I guess, is please come back.
Absolutely. Kalonzo and Mudavadi would be foolish if they think they would go alone, they would go it alone and win.
Yeah.
They have to go it with Raila.
That's
That's the only
numbers.
chance they would make government.
Yeah. But clearly, I guess, it's in an effort for them to try and get something more. Right?
Absolutely.
So in the Daily Nation, Iga. Okay, so we have a family watching news of someone campaigning on TV, and the father is blocking the eyes of his son from watching the news, while the mother is blocking her ears from listening, suggesting that perhaps they don't want to hear any news on political or 2022 campaigns. This is hogwash. Kenyans love politics.
I know, this cartoon makes no sense.
And we are mostly political beings.
Also, the politician in the TV screen appears to be swearing, right?
Yeah.
Can we just throw that
Is
in?
Daily Nation out. What do we have with the star?
The star, ozone. You have Peak Sufuria right there, and is situated in the mountain. And it's on fire. Something is cooking. Raila is cooking there. It's in the sufuria, and inside the sufuria is a mashakura. And someone is pouring
It's oil.
Oil, cooking oil.
There's some cabbage, potatoes.
Potatoes, can be sure a lot of waru and stuff. And the mchuzi is being put there. The caption there is something's cooking in the mountain. And it should. It should. Raila Odinga was known as Jabba in 2002.
Yeah.
Nobody took his title. He is still Jabba.
Yeah.
In any case, and we keep saying, he did not kill Kikuyus.
Mm-hmm.
So, why should he not be president?
Right.
We must vote for him.
I did love the pot of water there. It really captured the mountains.
Yeah.
Culinary expertise well.
Yeah. But you Kikuyus must get a little bit creative with your culinary things. You can't just be boiling
everything in water.
Yeah.
Okay, so who do we give our winning cartoon?
Standard.
I would give it to the Standard, I think the
Jaber?
proposal is quite funny.
There you have it, winning cartoon comes from the Standard. I want to end with this. Politicians as a class are dangerous. People who are seeking power over us are not, by definition, our friends.
Ooh.
That's from James Bovard. So be on the lookout.
Hustlers,
Do
he's not your friend.
Do subscribe to our YouTube channel, but also find us on TV. We're on GoTV, Prime Free to Air, and StarTimes. Have a lovely evening.
God bless.